Man, it's cold. It is very cold this Saturday morning. It's insane. It's gone to like 80 degrees and now it's like way down. And I'm surprised we don't have frost on the grass. Let me pick up this paper. So, the autonomous wall. It's really not about creating a wall, but about launching the seed nano and solving a problem of the southern barrier, and ultimately creating a solution to ensure that the data collected from autonomous agents, our data, whether it's from any sort of network, will plug into this network that we create, the autonomous wall network, so we ensure that we have control of the data. Because the simple fact is autonomous walls are coming. People are developing them, security systems, everything else, and all this data can be used to know what kind of car you drive, what you like to buy, what you like to eat. All this stuff is going to be used in order to push more widgets at you. I don't like that. Wouldn't you like control of your data? And this is how it's going to work. So everything you own that you care about, your car will have a private key and a public key. The public key is what the drones will read. The private key is what you hold. It may be linked to your private key. You'll have a master private key that will link to all these other private keys, your house, your property, your car, your kids, your wife, and she'll be linked to you too. She'll have you linked, right? Everything that you technically have dominion over. I hate to say that about the wife. My wife's gonna kill me if she heard that. Shit. Don't tell her I said that. I don't have dominion. She has dominion over me. She'll be the first one to say that. But anyway, but everyone will have that, and whether you'd have access to, but you'll have controls on this data, right? So, you'll be able to simply work like this. You'll take a picture of that thing, right? You then will do the KYC, like for example, it's my car, I show my license, I show my vehicle registration, that's KYC. It creates a private key for it. And then, then what happens is when my car, there's my car driving down the road. When the drone captures that car, right, it has XYO geolocation chip on it too, right? And it links to that geolocation chip. So you have your identity, you have your geolocation chip on it. Now there is potential abuses. This is pointing out what happens if I put a geolocation on my wife. I want to follow her, I would be, able to basically follow her and know where she's going. Big brother. Well, this is what's going to happen with governments and what's happened. So we want to stop this. So I'm just talking about how the setup will work. I don't have all the answers, but we'll come up with the answers for all these different things. God, I'm cold. I'm shivering. I'm so cold. I'm shaking the camera. I got to go get a jacket. It is too cold. Holy cow, it's cold. Fucking shit, it's cold. Oh, isn't it incredibly cold? That's why the person looked at me crazy. He's like, how's this person walking around? All right, so take a picture of your house, you mark out your property, you verify it's yours through the license plate, registration, KYC, call it KYC, right? Do KYC on the stuff you own. So for probably the minimum viable product, it's going to be simply take a picture, put in a XYO token, tie it to the token, which is basically a GPS, linked object. Anytime that object is videotaped, you will get a notification, right? And say, hey, there's activity. Let's say someone comes onto your property it knows the property is yours because the geolocation is tied to you. The autonomous agent captures someone coming onto your property. You get a notification video. What do you want to do with this video, right? So you get a little stream, 15-second stream of what's going on, and you should be able to tap in, kind of like to watch the live stream. It should just send you a notification. Yes, I want to live stream, or I want to contact. Yes, I want to forward this to law enforcement, or I want to delete it. So it gives you options to do. All data, all the videos will be deleted after 90 days, all this data, because there's a whole issue with data storage. So after 90 days, it's going to be deleted off the servers. Now, ideally, all this video is going to be hosted on other people's computers via distributed network, and they will earn the all token for basically storing this video. So there are people working on video storage, decentralized video storage on the blockchain. So you would earn all tokens for that. The other thing is, let's say I don't have a problem with you using my information. I'm not susceptible. You're not going to make me buy from a certain store, right? But imagine if I could say, yes, fine, share my content with advertisers, tell them, aggregate my data. If they want my data, to aggregate it, like where do I drive, what do I eat, what do I do, whatever, through the thing, then I'll give you that access for the all token. So you can see where the all token's coming in. So you can reward people for it, okay? So I want you to imagine that the autonomous walls you set up, they have a launch tower, they have a customized slot in, so each tower can hold up to 16 drones. I feel better now, the sun's hitting me in the back. So you can have a tower with 4 drones, and then you just slot in these things that just slot around, lock into the tower, and it go from 4 to 16 drones on the tower. Like a community like this, you could have a couple towers in here, and the drones are basically flying from tower to tower, up high, scouring. They're not that loud. And every time they see a vehicle, they're making note on the vehicle. They're asking question, is it networked? Is it local? Is it who, and if it doesn't, then it takes note of the vehicle, right? And if it passes or goes into someone's property, that person gets notification. Very much kind of like how Ring works, okay? Same way as Ring works. But instead of having a thing on your doorbell, you have these drones flying up high, so you're not very heard, right? Hovering high, monitoring and providing an additional security network for a community. So that is basically what I want you to be thinking about for creating an app for that management system, okay, for that. So how would it look? How would you interface with it? You would create an account. You would basically prove who you are, KYC, and there's lots of KYCs out there you could look at. Put in your driver's license, put in your name, identification card, just to prove who you are. Okay, that's KYC. Once the KYC, you'll know you're a person, not a bot. Okay. Some of the things that people do is actually take a picture with a paper to prove that's you, uploading just an ID. I mean, anyone could get fake IDs, right? And put them up and create these accounts. So you'd have to use, maybe two-factor authentication. There is a company called dCorp. Go to dCorp. I don't know what it is, .in or something, .info. I'll put the link to it. But they've got a really very concise platform and really well coded. I like a lot what they've done in that regard. So I'd like for you to start thinking, this isn't complete. This is just one part of the project. So the first thing is how we get people to get the app is like, hey, put yourself on the autonomous wall, link yourself. So that way, if any video is taken from you, you can set the parameters. I want to be anonymous on it. I don't care. I will be public, but you get all. If you're public, you get all. If you're anonymous, you don't get anything, but then you get scraped out of the video. Either you get blurred out or anything else. So I can imagine, for example, if you have if the autonomous wall is hooked up in a community, you'll see like blurred out people, and you'll see people who aren't blurred out, right? And those who are blurred out are basically part of the network, and they're saying, hey, I don't want my data to be, to be used or shared or anything else. Those that are visible are ones that either have opted in, to get ads, or are not on the system, right? So it's to their interest to basically sign up and be on the system. So that would be the very, very simple part. That's stage one, okay? Stage two is actually, now that you're on the system, you also ultimately have voting rights for all Dano. So think of it, this is a Dano. So you'll have so we'll just think of, we'll have one tab which will say, what are we gonna call that? Set up your identity, ID setup, right? ID setup would be ID setup, 2 words, ID setup, okay? And the other one is access Dano, or the other one could be a Dano tab. So 2 tabs somewhere, 2 buttons, 2 tabs on the top. So ID setup goes to the KYC, and then Dano setup, or Dano, basically gives you access to the Dano. And just like, think of it like Discord, think of all the logos would be different Danos out there. So think of Discord, how you click on play found ups, that would be your all Dano, right? In the all Dano, then ultimately there would be accounting, budgets. I don't know if we call it accounting or budgets. You got to think of the terms for these different things. So you can look in to see what is, what the budget is, like take you to a spreadsheet, like a Google spreadsheet, and you can see, and you can flag, you can comment on the budget, and then there is voting. So the budget voting. So on voting, it says things that people need to vote on. Do you approve? And the only people who can put in line item suggestions are actually delegates. And the end of voting is you can appoint a delegate. So, and then maybe there's delegates, and there are, so those are the 3 things. So there's the budget, there's the voting, right? Or things to approve, be like a ticker tape. And then there's delegates. And delegates will show you the delegates. You can look at their profiles, their KYC, their profile, who they are, and their video. You can vote for them, become a delegate, nominate yourself to be a delegate, or you nominate yourself, and then you've got to get 10 people. Depending on the number of people in the network, you need to have a quorum. So I don't know what those numbers are going to be yet, because we have to kind of play it out. So I think in order to be a delegate, you need to have at least 5% of the votes on the network. As a delegate who has votes, you can assign those votes to someone else, right? So you could get maybe 2% of the votes, and someone else gets 2% of the votes, and then you decide, hey, I'm going to give you my votes that have been assigned to me, and assign it to them. So everyone can pass their delegate votes on to another. This ultimately allows for a quorum. And ultimately what it could do is, if everyone decides, for example, Mike Trout should be the leader of Found Ups, everyone just, all delegates turn around and send, give me their delegate votes. So I have 100% of the delegate votes. So I become what's known as a super delegate. Right? The big dog delegate. So, and you know, and you know, maybe there's only a few, right? And then I could turn around and say, hey, I'm going to go on holiday, Mike Taratuta or Niv, I'm making you the delegate. You're going to run Found Ups for a while. I just sign everything to you. The cool thing is, a delegate, I can always pull those votes back. So the moment I think you're not doing a good job, I can say rescind, right? So I can assign those. So this is kind of like the second stage of how we design this and make it super clean and everything else. Is this. So right, the first part is, you know, is really adding yourself to the autonomous wall network, right? The second part is interacting with the organization. So those are the two parts of the issue that I want you to be thinking about, Niv, and laying that out so we can get that done. All right.